You ever walk into a place thinking it's just another ordinary day, and then, bam, you realize you've stepped into a storm you didn't see coming? That's exactly what happened to Jasmine last Tuesday. Jasmine, by the way, is not just any waitress. She's smart, quick-witted, and yes, black, just in case you thought this was going to be a normal rude customer story. So picture this. A crowded, upscale restaurant, the kind of place where the napkins are folded like origami and the silverware practically whispers your name. In walks a man, let's call him Mr. Goldstein. Billionaire, fancy watch, probably owns half the city and carries an attitude so thick you could spread it on toast. Now, here's the kicker. Jasmine is the first person he sees, and somehow in the span of 5 seconds he decides she's the perfect target for his morning rage. "Excuse me," he barks, startling a nearby couple into dropping their champagne flutes. "This coffee is unacceptable. I asked for it black, no sugar, no cream, no attitude." Jasmine blinks. She blinks again. And then she smiles. That smile isn't just a smile. It's a loaded question. It's the kind of smile that makes people wonder if they've made a huge mistake, but they're too arrogant to admit it. Mr. Goldstein doesn't see it that way. He stomps closer, tapping his designer's shoe like a metronome counting down to chaos. "Do you even know what you're doing? Do you understand the concept of service?" he yells. The restaurant falls silent. Everyone's eyes are glued to Jasmine. Some people lean in, others hold their breath. Jasmine, however, calmly wipes her hands on her apron. She tilts her head slightly, just enough to show she's listening, and then she speaks. But here's the thing. What she says next, it doesn't just answer him. It doesn't just respond to the insult. It flips the entire room on its head, leaves a billionaire speechless, and D sets off a chain reaction that nobody saw coming, and you're going to hear it. But first, let's rewind a little, because to understand Jasmine's brilliance, you need to understand the storm she walked into, the subtle tension in the air, and the kind of people who think money buys manners. You see, this wasn't just a bad day at work. This was a test of courage, wit, and resilience. And Jasmine? She was about to school everyone in the room, including the guy with the gold watch. So, let's back up for a second. Imagine being Jasmine. You've got tables full of people silently judging, servers hustling around, the clink of silverware like a ticking clock, and then Mr. Goldstein is staring at you like you personally ruined his entire life. And here's the thing. He doesn't just want a coffee fixed. Oh no, he wants a performance. He wants you to crumble. He wants drama, tears, the full Oscar-level meltdown. And honestly, you can feel the tension radiating off him like heat off asphalt in July. But Jasmine? She's calm. Too calm. And that's exactly what makes him furious. "Do you hear me?" he shouts, leaning over the counter like he's some kind of alpha predator surveying prey. "I said black coffee. How hard is that?" Now you might think, okay, this is going to be the classic argument where the server apologizes, fixes the coffee, and life moves on. Nope. Not in this story. Jasmine tilts her head like she's considering a very complicated math problem. And then, with a voice that's equal parts sweetness and steel, she says, "Sir, I heard you the first time. I also heard the way you just spoke to me. Which one do you want me to respond to?" The room goes dead silent. You can hear a pin drop. I mean it. Even the guy at the next table checking his stock portfolio pauses mid-sip because he realizes he's witnessing something extraordinary. Mr. Goldstein blinks. Then he laughs. That nervous fake kind of laugh that screams, "I'm not used to being challenged." "Excuse me?" he says, almost whispering now. Jasmine leans just a little closer, her eyes steady. "You asked for coffee, yes, but you also demanded respect in a way that assumes it's only given when money is involved. I can make your coffee, sir, but respect? That's not on the menu." And that's when the pattern interrupts hit. People who thought they knew exactly what was happening in the room suddenly realize they don't know anything. Is this funny? Is it tense? Is it terrifying? Yes, all three. And Mr. Goldstein's face goes through a full spectrum of colors like a stoplight that refuses to settle on green. He opens his mouth, probably thinking of some cutting remark, but Jasmine doesn't flinch. Instead, she smiles again, calm, confident, unshakable. And for the first time, everyone in that restaurant sees the billionaire as exactly what he is. A man used to control, facing someone he can't intimidate. Now, imagine that power shift. Imagine the audacity, the nerve, the sheer brilliance of replying like that. That, my friends, is where our story really begins. Because once Jasmine spoke, the rules changed. And the rest? Well, the rest is about to get even wilder. By now, the room is practically vibrating with tension. You can feel it in the air, like static electricity just before a thunderstorm. Mr. Goldstein, for the first time, looks small. Not in height, no, he's tall, but small in ego, small in control, small in the assumption that money makes him untouchable. He stammers, trying to find the words, but Jasmine's gaze pins him in place. "Are you serious?" he asks, voice rising again, trying to reclaim some shred of authority. "Do you know who I am? I could—" And Jasmine interrupts him with that same razor-sharp calm. "Sir, yes, I know exactly who you are, but I also know that being a billionaire doesn't entitle anyone to disrespect others. So tell me, what do you really want? Coffee, or to feel better about yourself at my expense?" The audacity, the nerve. People in the room are leaning forward, phones poised, some whispering, "Did she just say that?" and others mentally high-fiving her courage. Mr. Goldstein flushes red. He opens his mouth again, and this time it's like watching a boxer swing at air. Every insult, every jab he tries lands nowhere. Jasmine matches him word for word with the perfect mix of wit, authority, and just enough humor to throw him off balance. "I mean, really, sir," she says, smiling slightly, "I could make your coffee bitter, weak, or perfect, but I can't make you humble. That's a different recipe entirely." Laughter bubbles quietly at first, then spreads. Some people snicker, some chuckle out loud, others stare, wide-eyed, like this is a live TED Talk on how to handle arrogant billionaires. And here's the kicker. Mr. Goldstein isn't used to being the punchline. He sputters, trying to regain control, but Jasmine has him cornered without raising her voice, without shouting, without breaking a sweat. "You think money buys manners?" she asks, leaning just enough to catch his eye. "Because it doesn't. I serve coffee, yes, I serve respect, yes, but I don't serve ego." The room gasps. People are recording, whispering, even the chef peeks from the kitchen, trying to see what's happening. And in that moment, everyone realizes something incredible. This isn't just about coffee or a rude customer or a billionaire having a meltdown. This is about dignity. This is about standing your ground when the world expects you to bow. This is about the kind of courage that makes people rethink everything they assumed about power, race, and respect. And the irony? Jasmine isn't even mad. She's smiling, teasing, confident, because she knows something everyone in that restaurant will remember for a long time. Sometimes the right words are louder than money, louder than rage, louder than entitlement. And that's when the lesson begins. By now, the restaurant is buzzing, but not with chatter. No, it's this tense, electric mix of disbelief and admiration. People are leaning in, some holding their drinks like lifelines, because what they're witnessing is not just a confrontation, it's a masterclass in composure. Mr. Goldstein, the billionaire, is visibly shaking, fumbling for words like a kid caught lying about a broken vase. "You can't be serious," he finally manages, voice cracking slightly. "I am your customer. I pay your salary. And Jasmine tilts her head, that signature calm smile never leaving her face. "Sir, you pay a salary, yes. But paying a salary doesn't give anyone the right to demean, threaten, or insult. You're here for coffee. I'm here for respect. Which one matters more to you?" The room goes dead silent again. You can feel the air thick enough to cut with a knife. It's one of those moments where everyone realizes they are watching a billionaire get schooled by someone society often underestimates. And here's the delicious part. Jasmine doesn't just stop at words. Her humor sneaks in, sharp but light, like a well-placed dart. And trust me, she adds, if I wanted to, I could make your coffee so bitter you'd need therapy afterward. But today I'm serving justice instead. A few people chuckle, nervously at first, then with full-blown amusement. Mr. Goldstein blinks, finally noticing cameras, not just phones but real eyes, witnesses who see him unraveling. This is outrageous, he mutters, pacing now like he's trying to escape the gravity of her words. Jasmine, cool as ever, leans slightly forward and whispers, loud enough for the nearest table to hear, "Outrageous? Sir, it's called accountability. You might want to try it sometime." You can almost see the gears turning in his head, shock, embarrassment, maybe even a little respect. The restaurant watches, caught between wanting to intervene and wanting to cheer her on. And the truth hits hard. Jasmine isn't fighting him. She's simply refusing to participate in his terror. Annie. She's setting boundaries, teaching lessons, flipping expectations. People in the room start nodding subtly, some whispering, "Wow," others simply staring, trying to absorb the audacity. Mr. Goldstein opens his mouth again, and for a second you think he might regain control. But Jasmine cuts him off effortlessly. "Sir, coffee is ready. How you choose to drink it is up to you. But remember, respect isn't optional. It's earned, even in your world." And suddenly the room erupts, not with chaos, but with awe. People whisper, laugh, even clap quietly. Mr. Goldstein freezes, realizing he's lost, not just a battle but the silent war for authority he thought he owned. And that, right there, is the kind of power nobody sees coming. The power of calm, intelligence, and courage delivered in one perfect, unforgettable reply. By this point, the entire restaurant feels like it's holding its breath. People are watching a billionaire squirm in a way you never see on TV. Some are whispering, some are grinning, some are shaking their heads in disbelief, but everyone is glued to Jasmine. And here's the thing. She's not just defending herself. She's making a statement about dignity, about courage, about how no amount of money or status can buy decency. "Sir," she says, still calm, still smiling, "I understand you're frustrated. Coffee isn't perfect, life isn't perfect, but insulting me won't make either better." And the room? You could hear a pin drop. Mr. Goldstein's face contorts. Half fury, half confusion, half disbelief. "Are you serious? You're actually talking back to me?" He stammers. "Yes, I'm serious," Jasmine replies, leaning in slightly. "And I'm also hoping you'll realize something. Power without respect is meaningless. Authority without empathy is empty. And rage without self-awareness? Well, that's just sad." A few people laugh quietly. Others nod in silent agreement. And, it's somewhere in that silence, the billionaire realizes he's been schooled, not aggressively, not cruelly, but with sharp, undeniable truth. Jasmine continues, voice steady, warm but firm. "You might think you're untouchable because of your money, your influence, your name. But in this restaurant, right here, right now, respect is earned through action, not dollars. So, let's start over. Coffee first. Then maybe, just maybe, we can work on manners." And the audacity. The brilliance. It's like watching a chess grandmaster move 3 steps ahead while the opponent is still figuring out which pawn to touch. Mr. Goldstein opens his mouth again, tries to argue, and Jasmine interrupts with a grin. "Sir, do you want your coffee or your ego? Because you can't have both." People laugh openly now, some nervously, some with full-on glee. Mr. Goldstein freezes, blinking. That smirk of superiority he wore on entry, gone, replaced with a mix of shock and grudging respect. And in that moment, everyone sees the lesson clearly. Courage isn't loud, courage isn't violent, courage is knowing your worth and standing your ground. Jasmine didn't just serve coffee, she served perspective. And let's be honest, how often do you see a billionaire humbled over a cup of coffee? Rarely. That's why this story is unforgettable. And just when you think it's over, Jasmine drops one final line, soft but sharp, enough to echo in the room for days. "Next time, sir, remember, coffee is temporary. Respect? That lasts. And the room, quiet. Except for whispered awe, muffled laughter, and maybe, just maybe, a little hope that some people can still be taught a lesson. And just when you think the tension might ease, Mr. Goldstein finally reacts. But it's not the reaction you expect. He doesn't storm out, he doesn't yell louder, he freezes. His hands twitch over his empty coffee cup like he's trying to control something he can't. Jasmine watches him, calm, collected, letting the silence do half the work. And the audience in the restaurant? They can't look away. It's a weird mix of fear, excitement, amai, and admiration. You can't just talk to me like that, he finally says, voice low, almost a growl. Oh, I can, Jasmine replies, still smiling, because talking to you like that is the only way someone might actually hear themselves. People whisper, some chuckle quietly, others glance around, realizing everyone in the room is now on the edge of their seats. Mr. Goldstein blinks, confused, frustrated, maybe even embarrassed. I've spent my entire life, he begins, struggling, telling people how things are done. Jasmine tilts her head slightly, playful but firm. And yet here you are, learning a lesson you didn't even know you needed. Funny how life works, isn't it? A ripple of laughter spreads, soft at first, then louder, as the absurdity of a billionaire being humbled sinks in. And that's the magic of the moment. Jasmine isn't attacking him. She's exposing a truth he's never faced. Money doesn't equal moral authority. Status doesn't equal respect. Ego doesn't equal wisdom. And for the first time, Mr. Goldstein feels small, powerless in a room full of witnesses because his assumed control has evaporated. I don't understand, he mutters. How can you say all that and still be smiling? Jasmine leans slightly forward, soft but direct. Because, sir, life isn't about making people like you. It's about making sure you treat them right regardless of how they respond. And I treat people with respect, money or no money. That's why I can smile. The room murmurs in agreement, some shaking their heads, others laughing nervously. The man who thought wealth bought everything now realizes it buys nothing that truly matters. And the irony? Jasmine's calm confidence doesn't just diffuse the moment, it elevates it. Suddenly, the story isn't about a billionaire yelling anymore. It's about dignity, about courage, about being unshakable in a world that expects you to bow. And in that space, Mr. Goldstein learns a truth he won't forget anytime soon, that some lessons can't be bought, some power can't be demanded, some respect can only be earned. And Jasmine? She's teaching it all with a smile, a clever line, and a quiet authority that leaves everyone, yes, even the billionaire, speechless. The restaurant has shifted, the mood has shifted, and one thing is clear. This encounter will be remembered far longer than any coffee ever brewed. Now the tension is almost unbearable. Every eye in the restaurant is locked on Jasmine and Mr. Goldstein. You can feel the collective heartbeat of the room, like everyone knows they're witnessing something rare. Someone refusing to bend, someone standing tall against arrogance. Mr. Goldstein finally gathers his composure, or at least he tries. Do you even know who you're speaking to? He hisses, leaning slightly forward as if proximity could restore his control. Jasmine, unflinching, tilts her head and responds with perfect calm. Yes, sir. I know exactly who you are, but I also know who I am. And I know that no title, no amount of money, no fancy watch can make me small. That's on you. A murmur ripples through the restaurant. Some people laugh quietly. Others whisper in awe, she's incredible. Mr. Goldstein's jaw tightens. He steps closer, maybe thinking intimidation will work this time. But Jasmine meets him head on, eyes locked, voice steady, commanding attention. You've tried yelling, you've tried belittling, you've tried fear. None of it works here, none of it works on me. And that, sir, is why this moment isn't about coffee, it's about accountability. You can almost hear the collective gasps. He opens his mouth, sputtering, trying to find a comeback, but it never comes. Jasmine continues, each word slicing through the tension like a scalpel. You see, Respect isn't optional. Politeness isn't negotiable. And entitlement doesn't get a free pass. I serve coffee, yes. I serve patience, yes. But I don't serve fear. I don't serve humiliation. And I certainly don't serve arrogance disguised as authority. The room is silent again, but this time it's not just tension. It's admiration, realization, maybe even inspiration. Mr. Goldstein swallows hard, finally seeing that no wealth, no influence, no bluster can overpower integrity delivered with calm precision. And then, with a faint, almost imperceptible smirk, Jasmine delivers the final blow. Sir, your coffee is ready. Your lesson? Already served. Take it or leave it. A few people chuckle quietly, a few nod knowingly, and even Mr. Goldstein seems to pause, processing the audacity, the cleverness, the perfect timing. In that moment, the room changes, the energy shifts. The story isn't about anger or power anymore. It's about courage, intellect, and the quiet force of someone who refuses to be diminished. And the best part? Jasmine never raises her voice, never gets flustered, never loses her composure. She's teaching, leading, and standing tall while the billionaire realizes he's outmatched in the one area money can't buy: respect and dignity. And everyone in that room, they'll remember it forever. By now, the atmosphere in the restaurant has shifted completely. What started as tension, fear, and anger has transformed into something else: respect, awe, and maybe even a little humility. Mr. Goldstein, the billionaire who thought he could dominate the room, is quiet, really quiet. He's no longer pacing, no longer shouting, no longer trying to force control. He's just there, processing, staring at Jasmine as if trying to memorize a new rulebook for life. And Jasmine? She's steady, calm, like she's been here 100 times before. Sir, she says softly, still smiling, I know this isn't easy for you. Lessons rarely are. But you're seeing firsthand that respect isn't something you demand, it's something you give. And when you withhold it, people notice. The room nods subtly. A server whispers to another, she's amazing. People can't help but feel it too. I've spent decades in business, Mr. Goldstein murmurs almost reluctantly. I never thought anyone would confront me like this. Jasmine leans just enough to meet his gaze, eyes calm but piercing. Maybe because you never considered that someone could do it with intelligence, poise, and dignity. Maybe you're realizing now that respect is earned, not bought. And it hits him. He's outmatched, not by money or influence, but by courage, wit, and the kind of composure that forces reflection. The silence in the room is not awkward anymore. It's heavy with understanding. People are whispering, some laughing quietly, others just staring, absorbing the power of what they just witnessed. I didn't expect this, he admits, almost a whisper. Jasmine tilts her head, calm and confident. No one expects it, she replies. But that's the point, isn't it? Life doesn't bend to ego, status, or wealth. Life rewards character, respect, and integrity. And just like that, the billionaire realizes the moment has passed him by. He can argue, he can demand, he can rage. But none of it matters now. Jasmine has flipped the script. She's changed the room. And in doing so, she's shown everyone present, staff, patrons, even him, that courage and intelligence can triumph over arrogance and entitlement. A quiet laugh escapes someone at the next table, and it spreads. Nods of approval. Muted applause. Mr. Goldstein shifts in his seat, finally accepting the lesson he didn't know he needed. And Jasmine? She simply smiles, knowing the work is done, not just in making the coffee, but in making the moment unforgettable, teaching a lesson far bigger than anyone expected. Now comes the moment everyone has been waiting for, the payoff. The tension, the fear, the awkward energy, it all converges into a single, unforgettable climax. Mr. Goldstein sits there, quiet, humbled, still processing. His chest rises and falls rapidly, not from exertion, but from the shock of being confronted in a way money can't fix. Jasmine leans slightly forward, still composed, still radiant with calm authority. "Sir," she says softly, but with a strength that fills the room, "you can leave here angry, embarrassed, or humbled. The choice is yours, but remember this, actions speak louder than wealth, words mean more than titles, and integrity outweighs ego." The restaurant murmurs, people are holding their breath, cameras hover, phones are raised, and somewhere, the absurdity of a billionaire being schooled over coffee hits full circle. Mr. Goldstein opens his mouth, but the words stumble, fail him, and he finally closes it again. Jasmine continues, her voice gentle, her words precise. "I didn't yell, I didn't insult, I didn't threaten, I simply stood my ground. And in doing so, you've seen what respect really looks like, not just the facade of power." The shift is palpable. Some patrons nod knowingly, some whisper, "Wow, incredible." Even the staff exchange glances, silently thanking her for showing them what true courage looks like. And Mr. Goldstein finally exhales. The tension leaves him in a visible wave, a mixture of disbelief, embarrassment, and maybe the smallest seed of understanding. Jasmine smiles again, calm, kind, unshakable. "Now," she adds, almost teasingly, "your coffee is ready. Enjoy it. And perhaps enjoy the lesson as well." A few quiet laughs ripple through the room. The moment transforms from confrontation to reflection. People start to relax. They sip their drinks, some whispering to each other about what they just witnessed. And Mr. Goldstein, once a towering figure of ego, finally seems to grasp the truth. No matter how much money you have, no matter your influence or status, some lessons can't be bought, they can't be demanded, and they certainly can't be ignored. Jasmine didn't just survive the encounter, she owned it. She changed the room, shifted perspectives, and reminded everyone that dignity, intelligence, and calm courage are more powerful than anger, entitlement, or money. And as people quietly murmur, nod, and take it all in, the lesson lingers. The audience feels it, the tension breaks, and the story, finally, is almost complete, leaving a lasting impression that even a billionaire can't erase, because some words, some moments, some acts of courage, they echo forever. And here we are, the final moment, the calm after the storm. Mr. Goldstein sits quietly, coffee in hand, finally absorbing the reality of what just happened. The room has shifted completely. What started as tension and fear has become admiration and awe. People are whispering, some laughing softly, some still staring in disbelief. Jasmine stands tall, smiling, calm, confident, having delivered more than coffee. She's delivered a lesson in courage, respect, and integrity. "Sir," she says, softly but firmly, "I hope you take this moment with you long after you leave this restaurant. Lessons like these don't come often, but they last a lifetime if you let them." And the room feels it, the weight, the power, the truth in her words. Mr. Goldstein nods slowly, a subtle acknowledgement that he's changed, even if just a little. The tension melts away, replaced by respect and quiet reflection. Jasmine smiles at the staff, at the patrons, and even at him, a calm reassurance that the right words delivered with confidence and dignity can shift the world. People begin to whisper to each other, quietly laughing, shaking their heads, marveling at what they've just witnessed. "Wow," one says, "she really put him in his place." And it's true. But more than that, she's reminded everyone present that courage doesn't need violence, strength doesn't need threats, and respect can't be bought. It must be earned. And in a world that often rewards arrogance over kindness, entitlement over integrity, Jasmine has set a rare, shining example. The billionaire may leave, coffee in hand, but the lesson lingers. The laughter, the whispers, the awe, these moments stay with everyone in the room, and maybe, just maybe, Mr. Goldstein will carry a little humility with him. And for those watching this story, here's the takeaway. Never underestimate the power of calm courage, clever words, and standing your ground. And if this story left you inspired, shocked, or even just entertained, imagine the impact of learning more lessons like this. So hit that subscribe button, Because there are countless stories out there. Stories of courage, justice, and moments that leave people speechless. Stories that remind us that strength isn't about money, it's about character. And if you want to witness more stories that challenge assumptions, evoke emotion, and keep you on the edge of your seat, make sure you subscribe now. Don't miss the next one. Trust me, you'll want to be here when it happens. Because stories like Jasmine's remind us all, one brave reply can change everything, and one act of courage can echo far beyond a single moment.